Look, we thought the figures were going to be bad. They are actually worse than many people were predicting. What's your reaction?
Well, it's very concerning indeed. A rise of this kind, as you said, it's the highest since 1992, but it means for households, it means a real terms cut in household budgets. It also means a real terms cut for pensioners for the first time in many, many years because of the suspension of the triple lock. And so, because we're getting this news now, and we know that in February there'll be the announcement on the energy retail price cap, and we haven't had that yet. You add that together and it is a hugely difficult picture for British households, and the government needs to respond to it.
Would you be responding to it then if Labour were in government?
Well, the first thing, the priority for us has got to be action to address those huge increases in energy bills which the country is facing. So we've laid out a package that would see for everyone a reduction of £200 and for the households most affected a reduction of £600. And we'd fund that through the revenue that comes to the Exchequer because of those higher gas prices, and as well as that, a one-off windfall tax on North Sea oil and gas operators. So we take VAT off fuel bills, we would extend the eligibility for what's called warm homes discount and increase that to £400, as well as change some of the levies that are currently put onto fuel bills. So it will be immediate action, the most help going to the people who are most in need, but some help for everyone, because even people on median incomes will be facing some real problems with fuel poverty this year unless there is an intervention from the government.
But it's not just going to be this year, is it? It's going to be for many years ahead. We've got a huge problem in getting affordable energy in this country, and having a one-off windfall tax and scrapping VAT in debt for a short period of time is not going to solve the problem long term. What will you be doing to try and address it in the long term?
Yes, I think that's a good question. I think fundamentally, there is a saying that you can't build a Swedish barn to the standards of an English house, and that's true. Our energy efficiency, our housing stock is much older than the rest of Europe. The amount of energy we use per home to fix that. So one of the reasons we've got that big pledge on an increase in climate investment is to reduce the overall burden on households by making sure they don't have to buy as much energy to begin with. And that's the only real long-term position to take. As well as that, to be frank, I think we've talked on this programme before about the decision a few years ago to reduce the UK's gas storage. I'm afraid that has really backfired very heavily on the government when they allowed what was called the rough storage facility in the North Sea to be wound down, because of course what we really should have at a time like this is capacity, is storage, where we bought gas when it was relatively cheaper and we can release that onto the market now. So yes, there's been some huge problems and it requires a long-term response. I absolutely agree with that. But the fact is, this year already, with those very significant increases in inflation, for what that will mean with households, if you add the energy price rise onto that as well, it's a situation which is very, very grave indeed.